Oh, hello everyone. I've been thinking about something I see more and more often, and I want to share with you folks. So, many parents are pushing very young children into exams, competitions, rankings, certificates, and endless extra classes. Some of these children are still in kindergarten, some are only in first year of primary school. So, yeah, that's a lot. And obviously, yes, sometimes it works, but it works in short terms. The children may get sometimes a prize, may memorize some words, and the children may look ahead of other children for a while. But my question is, what are we sacrificing for that temporary advantage? Because in my personal opinion, I think education is not only about like early results. It's just too early. A child's early life is not decided by, say, one kindergarten competition, if there's a competition in kindergarten at all, or one primary school certificate. I think what matters much more is whether that kid still want to learn, after, say, 10 years. Whether the children can solve problems when, for example, sometimes in reality, the problems, there's no standard answers to that problem. And I want to know whether the children can, stay curious about the world. You know, I want learning to be a lifelong ability. And obviously, you can push kids really hard, but I don't want you to push that too hard just to become a childhood trauma. Okay? So, many modern education frameworks do not define a successful child as a child who simply, obey instructions and, score really well really early. They talk about like agency, like self management. They talk about critical thinking. They talk about emotion. That's another really important part, like emotional regulation. They talk about the communication with other children, whether to the kids or to the parents. They talk about the value that they're holding, and you know the most importantly, especially in the age of AI, the ability to learn um, by themselves in the like constantly changing situations. So, to put it simply, the goal I think is not to produce a child who can win and only win on, say, on paper, on worksheet. Okay, they can write all the answers at a very young age, but that does not guarantee future success. I think personally, my goal of raising child, raising a person who can live, who can think, who can choose, who can adapt, who can, by themselves keep growing. That is the goal of raise a person, raise a kids, or that's the goal of the education. And also, if you from the like psychology point of view, right? Psychology also tells us something very important as well, is that kids, childrens are naturally curious. They're curious about all kind of things. Um, Adults, I can't say for sure, right? We're not curious about something, right? But kids they want to catch things, right? When they experience this world, they grab something, they put it in the mouth, right? They want to touch things, taste things. They asking questions all the time. Some kids are really naughty. They tear things apart, and you know what? I think that's all shows the curiosity of this world. And we can also channel that curiosity into, say, build things, right? And they copy adults, so we can set a good example. So they copy from us. They copy adults, and they will learn from us. And of course, they can like they tell stories, they invent stories, and they do the testing of the words. So what I am thinking is that we need to cherish this curiosity. You know, curiosity do needs the right environment to protect it. So when you put this way, when you put learning, and when learning becomes owning, you know, when kids think about learning, they think owning about the pressure, right? Oh my gosh, there's like a lot of homework to do. When they talk about learning, the instant get connection of, oh, comparison. I need to like compare my result to other kids' results, something like that. And if I didn't do something well, they connect with the, say, punishments, right? So, for example, you didn't do this correctly, you get punishments. You get less screen time, and you know what? You can't play some toys, and that will connect to the fear of losing. You know what? They once they build all these connections, the child may still perform, right? They can sometimes even get great results, but I believe the inner fire of the curiosity can slowly. It's not going to go out like one day. You punch the kids and say, "Hey, you can't, you know, no screen time today because you didn't finish your homework," something like that, right? You didn't put out a fire instantly, but the inner fire of curiosity inside of each kid can slowly go out, and I think that's the danger of pushing the keys too hard, too early. And this will result the short-term winning, but in the long term, you put that in decades, in 10 years, that's long-term loss. So I think the problem nowadays is over competition. And the over competition that often give the wrong impression that we are actually achieving something, right? We're achieving something. We're getting real developments by pushing keys early. The early performance does not necessarily mean the real development. So, for example, I've seen a lot of parents like push the kids to memorizing like words, right? Memorizing expressions, memorizing some of the historic, facts. A child who memorizing fast is not necessarily a child who, actually understand the thing that a child memorized who deeply, right? They does not understand it. They can, of course. It's like sometimes I also joke about the new brain, right? They got like an empty brain, the new brain. They use that. They can memorize things really, really fast, but they're not necessarily understand it deeply. Okay, and you know, I've seen a lot of parents send kids to like competition, like a mathematics competition or something like that. You know what? Sometimes they will win some medals, but a child who win a contest does not necessarily mean that a child who loves the subject. They can win, they can perform, they can achieve certain results, but that does not guarantee that the child who loves the subject that he's winning. So I think the we don't want to get a scenario when a child who is like always pushed around by adults like every day, and from outside when you look at the child, it looks like it's looks disciplined, right? But I want to remind you that the long-term goal should be the self discipline. right? So it's not like disciplined by other people, but rather like regulated by themselves. That's, I think, is the difference that do matters. Like the external pressure that we constantly put at, push the kids around, and yeah, we can make the kid move, we can make a child move, but the internal motivation, that kind of curiosity, that's the thing that'll make a child continue when, say, nobody's watching. Okay, so I think that's what parents should build in the early years. So we will talk about what the parents should build in the later video. So yeah, thanks for watching.